How you doing? So I am now a Thronebreaker. So let's take a look at my title. As you can see, I read this earlier. I am now a Thronebreaker. It's pretty crazy considering that it took me at least 5 years, at least 60 months to become Thronebreaker and spending $2,000 worth of money to become Thronebreaker in my main account the first time. Okay? It now as a free to play, it took me 6 months. That is 10 times faster, at least. That is pretty crazy. So I started this on May 10th or May 9th, and I guess I uploaded it May 10th. So you could say six months in one day, considering now it's November 11th. I mean November 10th. So, well, technically, where I'm from, it's actually November 11. But when I became a Thronebreaker, it was November 10. But 6 months, it is pretty crazy. So, the real question why I'm doing this challenge is it realistic for a new player to do it? And I know somebody made a comment, which I do appreciate all the comments, good or bad, said, let's take a look at it actually. So, let's pause the video. So here it is. I do appreciate whoever this is for the comment. I always appreciate the comments no matter what it is, good or bad. So say 90 days would be quick for someone with no knowledge of masteries, champion tier list, or general game mechanics. But great job. Thank you for the comment. So it was talking about me becoming Cavalier in 90 days. So really less than half the time it took me to become Thronebreaker. And I do agree. You could say that it was kind of quick to become Cavalier, considering what he mentioned already on this comment. But I think it's probably more, and I feel like it's more realistic to become Thronebreaker in 6 months compared to becoming Cavalier in 3 months as a new player. So another thing is what else? You could see here. Does it tell you? That's when I first made the video. Day one, May 10, as you could see. So I do believe it was May 9, somewhere maybe at like late midnight, close to midnight. But then I didn't upload it the next day. So this first day is May 10, I guess. So it's 6 months ago when I started this new account, averaging of 30. So basically, I am doing a realistic new account challenge for new players who wants to play MCOC. As a free-to-play account, the goal is to play an average of 30 minutes a day and to become a Paragon in 1 year. So I know I'm not a new player, but I'm just an average player. I feel like an average player is a lot closer to a new player skill wise compared to an average player like myself compared to the best players in the world. That's why I think this is fairly realistic to reach for a new player to do. I know if I can do it in 1 year, it doesn't really make sense for a new player to do it in a year. It doesn't make it feel like realistic, but I think I can do it in 8 months. Maybe 8 months in a week at most, but really probably 8 months is the goal. So, what does separate me from a new player compared to what I have now? Why I do believe it's realistic. But before I do, to let's go to this. So this is pretty much how a new. I don't think I out of this is my third time completing the Grandmaster, and this could arguably be the worst. That is the craziest part. So I don't expect a new player to play much worse than I did to beat the Grandmaster. So I said it. It is trying to be as realistic as possible because this is really hard. I know somebody mentioned in one of the comments from YouTube, they were commenting about they couldn't beat the Grandmaster, and then another person comment Unit Man, and that's what I pretty much did to complete the Grandmaster. Uh, I really, you know, should have probably if I knew I was gonna spend units on this because I wasted 880 units on this. It's just ridiculous. 880 units, as plus many revives and team revives. Okay, if I knew I was gonna waste even like 100 units, I would not try to complete it today. I could have waited 2 weeks, and I probably would have had saved enough revives to do this without spending units. And also, I could have practiced too, like in my main account. But the thing is, that's not making it realistic, because a new player wouldn't have access to Grandmaster, right? So it's just not realistic for me to practice in my main account compared to this new account to beat the Grandmaster. So I feel like it's more realistic now. But in the end, um, also another thing too is this was 740 units. If I knew I was gonna spend 880 units to beat the Grandmaster, I would have bought this. Okay, I would have saved 40 units, and I would have got what, 25 tier 5 class catalysts and 20 energy refills. Okay, I don't know if I'll use all those energy refills, but still, it's the main part. It would have been cheaper. I don't know if I will purchase this again if I do plan to do a new account challenge. Well, actually, I do. It's just spoiler alert, but in the future, I will be doing a new account challenge because of the super daily event that is going on. So the faster I believe you progress now is more valuable than it was before, because of the super daily event coming in November 22nd. I guess I can talk about it more later or a little bit more now. So let's go to the game. So I know you guys are curious how many champions I have and all that, what rank they are. So I just want to give you guys, this is my main account right here, Reno XP911. So I just want to give you guys why this is realistic. Look how many units I have. I can't see it. Can you? There's something. I feel like there's a dot right next to it. Okay. I have 11,276 units. Okay. I did have over 12,000. Then I end up wasting 880 units. I'm a pre-to-play, as you could see. I don't know if there's evidence that I'm a pre-to-play, but I am a pre-to-play. Okay. On this account. Okay. But I also have a pay to win account, which you just saw earlier. But when I was pressing the help button. So not only I have over 11,000 units, why I think this is realistic for a new player, if you're to do it in 6 months, is because I save pretty much all my units. I don't spend the units, and then people are always asking me in the comment section, like, how do you have so much units for a new account? And the reason why is I just don't spend the units. I don't want to say it's I completely not spend units. I did spend 750 units during July 4th, which I believe was a mistake, and 38 units for in-game units for like 3,000 5-star shards, which also I believe was a mistake. And what, 880 units for using revives was also a mistake. So, and it is pretty much mandatory that when it comes to your mastery, I believe I spent, I don't know how much, but I had to unlock dexterity. Okay. I don't remember exactly how much it cost, but I did spend units on that as well. But there are a lot of things I could improve on this new account challenge for sure. If I when I do a new account challenge, but how realistic is it, right? Because I already know what to do. A new player, I'm not expecting to know what to do. So this new account challenge is going to be as realistic as it is for a new player to do in 6 months. I think it's very realistic. Not, if you're willing to spend all your units, right? I can't see it. I guess I don't know. I have over 11,000 units. Okay, if you're willing to spend all your units, and also people have asked me why don't I open my crystals. As you can see here, I just felt like 5 stars is good enough to complete Act 6. I do have a 6-star rank for Ascended Guardian, which helped me a lot for sure. I'm not going to deny that. But look how many 6-stars I have. I have 1 plus, what is that? Almost 12 6-stars on this right here. I just never felt like 6 stars is needed to become Thronebreaker. Yes, when I become Thronebreaker, I will be using 6 stars mostly. Practically, I try to gonna be using all mostly 6 stars, but I got a lot of ranking to do, and I saved all these things right here. I don't know if it was a mistake. I probably should have just opened this when I became Cavalier, because from Cavalier to Thronebreaker is a little bit hard, but I do believe that Thronebreaker to Paragon is harder, at least for me. I got another 4 here that's also a Nexus. What else? And the big ones, the big one, the reason why here. Legendary crystals or reunion crystals. I have legendary and reunion crystals. What is that? 88 plus 3. I have 91 right here. 91 reunion crystals. Okay? 91 legendary crystals plus 26 platinum pool crystal. I don't know if this is based on your level progression, but I think it is. But I'm pretty sure when it comes to legend separation crystal, it is. Perhaps it was a mistake to hold on to it. I definitely wouldn't have to spend units to be the grandmaster if I had opened my legendary crystals, and I probably would obviously gone faster than 6 months to become Thronebreaker. So what is the difference? Why what is the difference? Basically what it is, when compared to Cavalier and Thronebreaker, you're getting double the 6 star shards. I don't know exactly what it is, I forgot, but you get double the 6 star shards when you open these. You also have 6 star rank 4 materials. So if my goal is to become um, Paragon in 8 months, I have to wait till Thronebreaker. So like I mentioned, if I had not spending 880 units, if I can go back, I probably would rather open this instead. And there really it wasn't, my thinking was there's really no difference if I became Thronebreaker a month earlier if I opened this, because I would have saved what, 90, let's say 90 crystals. That could have been Thronebreaker instead of Cavalier, which wouldn't yield to 6 star rank 4 materials, more 6 star shards. So I don't know. I think it was worth it. At the end, I think it might have been a mistake, obviously, because I ended up wasting 880 units. But I didn't really have to finish it now. I just wanted to show that it is realistic to become Thronebreaker in 6 months. The key is you got to put the time in. So my average gameplay, I would say, is probably about 31 minutes. Margin of error, I would say 1 minute. So anywhere from 30 minutes to 32 minutes of gameplay. So let's take a look at my champions. Of course, you guys want to see my champions. Uh, it's crazy. I don't have a lot of 6 stars. How many 6 stars do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Practically almost 1 6 star a month. It is pretty crazy. But having said that, I just never rely on my 6 stars. I have Guardian. That's pretty much the only 6 stars I use the entire time. But and I think Captain Marvel too, just because of, like, was it combat use or hero use, wherever it was. But that's it. So I will be using my 6 stars when I'm Thronebreaker. Most of them are going to be 6 stars, probably except Heimdall, but I'm not even going to use Heimdall. Probably not. So yeah, so I will be using my 6 stars. When it comes to my 5 stars, as you can see, I have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6, 7. I have 7 rank 5s and 6, 7 ascended. What do you call this? 5 star. It was probably a mistake not using Aegon to do the Grandmaster. If I could go back, I probably could have used Aegon and it would have saved me a lot more revives. There's a place where you can ramp up Aegon to 999, and I probably would have just brute forced it in like 20 minutes, maybe using 20 revives or less, using a 5 star rank 5 ascended Aegon 9 and 999 against Grandmaster. But it is what it is. You can just learn from your mistake. So this is pretty much it. Like the main thing, as I mentioned, how realistic it is. Uh, I believe it is realistic. I know I've seen this YouTuber. She's a girl playing MCOC, and I'm pretty sure she started her account before I did, and she's still uncollected, I believe. And you're like wondering, and most people that start new accounts, they're not gonna probably do it in 6 months to become Thronebreaker. I understand that, and really the biggest reason why is that they can't do it is because they just don't put in the time. I saw this girl, like I mentioned, in YouTube. She's pretty sure she's playing this game more than I am. More than 6 months, and maybe probably closer to a year. But she's level 44. Level 44. Okay, so I'm assuming that seems like obvious that she's been playing less hours than I do. And you could say like, bro, you passed me already, or another person. Like you could say, bro, I've been playing for a year, I'm only Cavalier. And then you're asking like, so how many hours have you put in the game? 40 hours. Well, that makes sense why you're still Cavalier. So people don't forget that hours is much more important than the days it takes you. Okay, the hours is more important. I know, like, you see the best players in the world. Like, I just saw, Nick became Paragon in 11 days. You know, and people obviously would want to see that rather than seeing somebody becoming Thronebreaker in 6 months, becoming Paragon in 11 days. But that's just not realistic, okay? Keep in mind, Nick is one of the best players in the world, okay? And he's what, averaging 7 hours, 6 to 7 hours a day to become Paragon in 11 hours? So about roughly 70 hours to become Paragon, okay? That's a lot of time you put in the game, okay? It's not just like nothing to take away from Nick that he's one of the best players in the world, but putting in 70 hours to become Paragon. So you have to put in the time. You know, you can't just, thinking to yourself, you know, thinking that you can do it in 11 days and saying, "Oh, I quit because I can't do it that fast." This is why it's called a realistic new account challenge. This is for somebody to think, oh, somebody can become valiant in 2 months. I can do it too, and they figure out they can't do it, so and they end up giving up. I don't want you. I'm just giving you guys the truth. It might not sound cool. It might not be like feel like, oh, that seems slow. I'm just saying this is realistic for a new player to achieve. Um, I believe that they could do it in 6 months. As I already mentioned, I still have over 11,000 units. I haven't opened any of my legendary or reunion crystals. I also have so many. I don't think I've opened any 6-star crystals either. So if I can do all those things and being as well as being an average player like myself, to do it in 6 months as a free to play, an average of 30 minutes, actually to be 30 to 32 minutes a day, that is, I think it's possible. I think a new player can do it. So like I mentioned, I'm averaging about 31 minutes plus or minus 1 minute margin error. Roughly, it took me about 85 hours to become Thronebreaker. About that, without really spending much units and having all my reunion crystals and 6-star crystals that I didn't open. So that is, I would consider, I would say, pretty good. What else do I want to say? Let me pause the video. So let's just get into my plans. What are my plans now since I am a Thronebreaker? Also, another thing is why I wanted to become Thronebreaker as soon as possible is because of this, and I'll show you. I guess I could have waited 2 days, maybe. I guess 3 days, 4 days, not including this, but I I waited. I wanted to become a Thronebreaker as soon as possible because I wanted to claim these. Now I can claim it. You see, I would have, you know, wasted 1,000 shards. This is pretty much close to like legendary crystals. So every time I open a legendary crystal, I would have got an extra 1,000 shards from Thronebreaker. if I open the Cavalier. So that's why I waited all this time to to open my to open my legendary crystals. So there you go. I'm gonna claim it. Let me see. Now I can claim this too. As you could see, I have so many 6 stars. So when do I plan to open my 6 stars in legendary crystals? Um, That's a good question. I do still want to wait because I want to do a big crystal opening, and my plans now, because since I've been averaging like 31 minutes a day, or maybe 32 minutes, including logging in on the website to claim the crystals. I want to like I'm gonna pretty much play less than 30 minutes for a few days, take it easy on this new account challenge. So I can add, because my goal is to average 30 minutes or less for 8 months to become Thronebreaker. The goal is the most important thing is not how many days, is to average 30 minutes a day or less. So if you notice, I've been playing over an hour lately. But when you think about what do you call this? I took a total of what, 34 days? Like I took 7 days off or 6 days off or something like that, and then another 27 days. So it took a total off of 30. I was averaging 30 minutes a day before I took a break, and I took a break for 34 days. So when you average it out, since I came back for what, 37 days now, since I played consecutive days, I was probably playing about an hour on average. So if you do the math, average, let's say I didn't play for 37 days and I've been back for 37 days, average of an hour a day. That's like, you take the average of not playing one day and playing an hour and the next day, that's an average of 30 minutes a day. So that's why when you do the math, I know it seems like, wait, doesn't seem like he's playing only 30 minutes a day. That's because I took off 34 days. So when you do the average, it's roughly about 30 minutes a day. So let's take a look at what my plans is when it comes to Act 7. I'll probably just do little by little when it comes to Act 7 until after or during. At the very least, during a gifting event. It kind of hurts me wasting 800 units, 880 units. You're probably wondering why I'm doing with so many units, because I've been wanting to save them for a gifting event, and I just spent 880 units just so I can make this video saying that it's realistic in 6 months for a new player to become Thronebreaker, which I do believe it is. But I'm just gonna do little by little. When it comes to Act 7, I'm gonna wait till all my what do you call this? All my energy refill, so I would have saved myself 80 units. Okay, so I really spent close to 800 units, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But it is what it is. I'm gonna wait for that to refill when it comes to my revives before I do Act 7, little by little. But I'm gonna place most of it, I would say, after the gifting event or during the gifting event. One of those, my plans to do Act 7. And I guess I could finish it in 7 months, but I feel like, if I do it in 8 months, I would probably put the same amount of time, because I'm gonna have higher ranked champions, when gifting event comes compared to now. Okay, and I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to have 3 6-star rank 4s, if I was trying to do it in 7 months. So, and like I mentioned, the goal is not how many days it takes, it's how many the hours it takes, and I want to average 30 minutes a day, if not less, to make it like it's realistic for a new player to do. Thank you.